Well, we need to welcome you back, and we'll see with the big story for today. And we're talking about the recent, or just yesterday, new standing order being initiated by the Senate, and looking at non-ranking members not being able to vie for the seat of the president or the deputy senate president. Well, like we did say, also that was being initiated or being sponsored by no other but the Senate Majority Leader. I'm talking about Senator Bamidele. Well, anyway, as much as had happened yesterday, it's still creating a whole lot of reactions, and I do know a whole lot of reactions will come later on account of it. But what will come now, let's quickly go on a break and get message from our lovely sponsors. And we're talking about Benita Gas, located right here in Ugedi, Okokoko, and also Warrior and Environs. Let's go get a break, and I'll come back.
Hey, Willikity, how person want to talk about gas matter? Make Beneta gas plant no sit down for im matter. Gas when we say it light and last well. Now Beneta gas plant na filamo. Gas when the full rich mark pek. Now Beneta gas plant na filam, and for any type and size of gas cylinder plus all accessories. Now Beneta gas plant na the touch lighter. Now every day now Beneta gas plant they open from 6 a.m. to 8 p.m. on top refill matters. Oh yeah, make you visit any Beneta gas plant branch. You fit enter inside of Soko off Jakba Road, opposite UBA for PTI Road and from Nehemiah Junction, near former Army checkpoint for Okwokoko, or 101 Ajami Moga Ekpe Road, Wari, or 145 Ugeli Patani Expressway by Aviation Junction when carry eye, they look Shikiman and NNPC roundabout for East Soko Road for Sergeant Quarters for Ugeli. For more information, make you call Beneta Gas Plant for 080-6745-7890. Beneta Gas Plant. Na God, they our back.
Well, definitely our lovely sponsors. Well, like I said, we'll say the big story for today, and we're looking at that very recent push or standing order being initiated by the Senate, saying that non-ranking members cannot vie for the position of the Senate President or the Deputy Senate President. I see how my guest right here in the studio. I'm talking of no other person but Comrade Efe Adamo. But now we're being joined, like I promised earlier, by no other person but Barrister Chus Abuba. He's joining us all the way from Imo State to talk about this. Hello, good morning to you, sir.
Hello, good morning.
Nice having you on the show. Good morning to you, and thank you for also spending your time with us, talking about this very lovely discussion today on the big story. Barrister Chooks, I'll just quickly throw it to you. And well, what do you feel, or what do you think about this new standing rule by the Red Chambers, insisting that first-timers will not and cannot be allowed to vie for either the post of the position of the Senate President or the Deputy Senate President? I know a whole lot of things happened before that, and we saw how it really played out in June between the Senate President and the former governor of Zamfara State, Abdulaziz Ayari. And 2 weeks back, we also heard of some move to impeach the Senate President. But let's leave all those drama alone. But I just want your keen reaction to this new standing order.
All right. Personally, I will consider the order as unconstitutional.
Whoa.
And it is ultraviolate the powers of the 10th Senate to make such rules. Firstly, all the senators there, the Constitution provided for the requirement that qualifies them to contest or to be elected as senators. And the same provision of the Constitution that provides for that qualification is still, whatever qualification after getting into that office must be subsumed under Section 65 and 66 of the 1999 Constitution as amended.
Yes.
For instance, the Constitution can lay down qualifications for you to be in an office. You cannot get to that office and you now put up another qualification to contradict that which brought you in. So if anybody is qualified to be elected as a senator, the person must be qualified to be elected as a president of the Senate. It's like saying a president of Nigeria. A first-timer can be a president of Nigeria. If a first-timer can be a president of Nigeria, then a first-timer can be a president of the Senate. And it's also against the first-timers there, they have their constitutional right also not to be discriminated against.
Okay.
and you cannot make any law that would discriminate them. Having qualified to become senators, you cannot disqualify them any further.
Okay.
And if the Constitution has said there shall be a president of a Senate and the deputy president in section 50 sub 1 thereof.
Sub 1, yes.
That is just what the Constitution said. The Constitution did not go further to say for you to become a president of the Senate, you have to be a second timer. And if the Constitution has not said that, any other rule that contradicts the sections of the Constitution regarding qualification to become a senator, or the provisions that provides, or the section that provides for the requirement to become a senator, then that other rule is, for me, is unconstitutional. If they take it up into the court, if the judiciary maintains their position in law, then I think the interpretation will render it unconstitutional.
Well, that was even where I was going to with my second question, because we also do know that the non-ranking senators yesterday totally criticized, even threatened going to court. So do you see them, looking at that section, and we're talking about section 50, subsection 1, which gives them every right to be elected on the platform of each party they come, or being elected as president or deputy president as it concerns section 50, subsection 1. Do you see them going to court and indeed claiming or pushing out that standing rule?
Yes, for me, I think they will succeed in court, but I made a statement: if the judiciary maintains their ground as the institution that interprets the law, and if they are to maintain their ground to interpret it objectively and without bias, that such suit, if it goes to court, it will succeed.
Okay.
Because I have said it already that it's unconstitutional, but it now boils down to what the judiciary will interpret it to be.
Okay.
I just hope they will stand their ground and they will not be, in any way influenced negatively against such.
Okay, now let me bring you into the political part of it. Now, do you see this as a preemptive move to deal with the recent issue that seemed to have come, especially as concerns the impeachment of the Senate President, Godfrey Akpabio? Do you see this having a political undertone that Senator Bamidele did yesterday?
Yes. It is clear and unambiguous that it's exactly a political move. It's a preemptive move, like you said, and a defensive mechanism. And when such is done, when in a democratic society you begin to take such steps, that will lead you to making draconian laws. Because every time you're making a self-serving rule or law, it will end up, such laws are self-destructive also. Because it is a preemptive move. Yes. I presume they are trying to stop the other camp. And I also see the institution of government as gangsterism. That's what we are running in Nigeria.
That's a strong statement, Barrister Chooks.
Okay, if you want me to change it, let me change it to a Machiavellian system. It's something.
Yes, that's far more funny.
Oh, really?
Okay. Well, don't mind me, Barrister Chooks. I'm just trying to make a laugh out of it. It's becoming a bit too serious. But let's still remain with the serious issue. And my next question is, don't you think we've always been practicing this style? Undermining is now more of a standing order in the House, because in the red chambers rather. Because why I ask so? Now, apart from the first report, or rather the coming of democracy back in 1999, we've always had Senate presidents that were either two-timers or even had 3 times in the Senate being Senate president. And we can trace it back all the way from that of the presidency of late Musa Yar'Adua down to even the former president, and we're talking about Muhammadu Buhari. So is there any change? And my next question again after that will be, don't we need a true experienced senator as a Senate president that can navigate around the political waters that seem to always be there in the red chamber? So would an experienced senator not need to lead rather than having a first-timer that might just be swept away with all the political drama happening in the red chambers?
No, I consider the statement first-timer, or the clause first-timer, as a blanket clause. Because the person you're calling a first-timer may have been the Speaker of a House of Assembly in a state.
Of course.
Might have been a House of Representative member. So when coming to a Senate as a former Speaker of a House of Rep or House of Assembly, and you begin to see him as using first timer as a blanket to cover him, or maybe I would have become a governor before. Okay. Or if in the past we were using second or third timers as prison wear, because they must have gathered support and popularity among their fellow members. Mm-hmm. But if a first timer can possess such requisite qualities of gathering momentum and support of all the members against a second or third timer, then the first timer can do the job. He can do it.
But do you really see that happening? On the mining, you sound optimistic, but do you see that happening looking at the strong political play that seems to happen in the red chambers? We're talking about lucrative committees being given to different persons. Can a first-timer weather the storm? Because we do know that the present travels of no other person but the Senate president is on account of not just the ministerial list that many felt he just pushed through without having issues, but rather committees that were not given to some powerful senators bringing forth all of this. Can the first timer truly handle all of those pressure, all of those drama, all of those political play if he comes on board?
Yes, I have answered this question before, that if a first timer can handle the pressure of ruling Nigeria, then the Senate House is a smaller entity for a first timer to handle. A first timer can actually, there is no rocket science in doing this thing.
Okay.
We make rulership or leadership in Nigeria look like a rocket science. That is why the youths are not taking over. In developed countries, younger persons of under 30s are doing these jobs.
Yes.
You know, there's no rocket science. And if there is any rocket science in it, someone can sit down in a night and learn the rules and learn all the ethics and whatever that is required to handle it. I mean, a first timer can do it. Honestly, I believe it's not a rocket science.
Okay, well, thank you so much, Barrister Chuks. I know how really busy you are, but you needed to really oblige us on this lovely discussion. Thank you so much. And we might be calling on you another time to also have this robust discussion. Thank you so very much for that.
You're welcome. Thank you, and thank you, my listeners.
Well, anyway, you heard what he said, and we needed to look at it as it concerns the Constitution. I will have to bring him on board to do that. Let's come back to the discussion, because it's already creating a whole lot of storm.
Yes.
And most certainly, with even the reports we're getting just now, we do know that some members of the Senate are planning to really kick against that, and they feel in every way deprived of having that standing order just yesterday. Undermining their voice was heard, but like we always say, the majority will always have their way. But let's major on this and look at bringing a robust democratic setting. And one of the main questions, especially from what he said, he talked about being first timer in the House or in the red chambers, but not being first timer as it concerns, political, So let's look at this. Do you feel these will totally kill the robustness in our democratic practice if, because it's already there, if it's allowed to stand?
It will kill the robotic nature of lawmaking, because it will not leave those that have the brains, the wherewithal, and the knowledge and the capacity and capability aside because they are first timers. And you now bring somebody who has been there as a dead stone to be the leader. And you know that thing will cause a lot of disgruntled situation in the House.
Okay.
And when you have that situation, you're already dislocating the lawmaking process. Then those who now have the knowledge that be able to contribute, they will tell you, I know, our guy is there. It happens in even companies, not only in the lawmaking institution. Like what he said, I don't know whether he's indicting his immediate constituency by saying that if they go to court, he's not even sure whether the court will grant them their prayers. It depends on what the judges there think, and that is the true position actually. But let us still go to court and push their case through. I would rather believe that they should repeal that clause. Let's come back to Delta State.
Okay.
We have two senators here who are first timers. I don't know whether the one from the north is a first timer too.
No.
Joel Onabo is a first timer from the south.
And F.A. Duffy is
the central.
Yes.
Has it been the zone, the Senate presidency to that place now? Will you take it away? Because they are first timers?
That will be injustice to the people.
Exactly. So why do you now want to propagate injustice in a justified system? It's very wrong. What you should look at is before you are elected a senator, even if you are an imbecile, once you are elected a senator, you are a senator of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, and they know that you can offer something.
Not a senator, first-time senator or second-time senator.
No, irrespective. You can perform any duty if you have the capability to do it. That's what we are talking about here. We are not talking of how long you have served.
But should respect not be accorded to persons that have vied, that have been able to contribute, not just once being there, but 2 times, 3 times being
What was the level of contribution? What was the impact of the contribution? What is the positivity that was derived from the long stay in the house? Now, let us be a bit rhetorical on scriptures. The longest living man remains Methuselah, 969 years. That was the only thing Bible mentioned about him.
So we learned.
So we learned, so you know, because you read it.
Okay.
That's the only thing.
I'm still ordained. I didn't even go to the Bible.
Okay, don't worry.
Just go ahead.
Come to my school of theology.
Okay, well, go ahead.
The man lived 969 years. The only thing they mentioned about him in the whole Bible, Genesis to Revelation, is he lives the longest. Our Savior, we believe in the Christian sect, is Jesus Christ. Other people believe in their own religion. So I'm not trying to downplay anyone. Lived for only 33 years and a half. He celebrated it tomorrow. It's not long how long you say, but how impactful you are to that system is what we are talking about now, Mike. That law is going to cause real rancor in the nearest future. Because when you are making that law now, you are happy. You want to protect yourself. Of course, that is the African politics. Rulership by conquest. You have made it, you have gone. When it comes to your children's son, will you cry out that something is wrong somewhere? You won't be able to do it because you have instituted that policy. Now, coming back to the real governance of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, experience is different from longevity.
Okay.
Nigeria has never moved forward. And somebody is saying that Nigeria does spoil, I can bet you Nigeria has never been better. Even when we are having surplus in our treasury, it was never better than this one because we never invested those surplus. First-timers are those people that have come with fresh ideas. First-timers are those people who are grounded in their various fields. And because you are coming in as a senator for the first time does not mean that you have not been following the political trend. You have not been studying the political matters. Somebody who is a graduate or is a political scientist, is a lawyer, even up to the position of LLB, came in for the first time. And you are telling him that because somebody who has been there, because let our people go, he came in as a furniture maker. And he has been there for 10 years. He will now have more knowledge about running the red chamber more than the person that had political science certificate, somebody that authentic one, of course. And with a legal, what is the language? Is it luminary or legal one?
We'll not go to Chicago, but rather remain here with the issues.
But I can go to Toronto.
Okay, well, anyway, if you choose to, but let's still remain with the discussion. And I'll come right for them. I'm really concerned about what might play out in the eventual future. And I'm looking at it now, like we said in our introduction, or I said in my introduction, it was more like dealing with that destabilizing factor that had arose a couple of weeks back, looking at the impeachment of the present Senate President Godswill Akpabio. But do you see this further bringing more destabilization rather than quelling that initial destabilization? Because at this point, do we even need all of this?
We don't need
That's
it.
the question.
We don't need it. Because you are trying to disenfranchise some people from their rights.
And do you see a turmoil brewing there?
Definitely, there will be.
Cause a whole lot of issues.
There will be. Why do you think that I will be able to support your ambition when I know quite well that I'm not gaining anything from that your ambition? And you think I will support you? It is never done. One of the reasons why the winner of June 12 election 1993 was not ratified.
Okay, Abiola.
So, yes, I don't want to mention him so that you don't say I am marketing.
No, of course not. He's late, and everybody do know him. June 12 is the reading we're celebrating. Well, go ahead.
They said because he never served anybody. That was one of the reasons, though it was just a flimsy excuse.
But it was on the ITF, and he served Nigeria.
Yes, but not at a government capacity.
Okay.
But without him being in the government circle then, though he was contracted to federal government, state government, and co, the knowledge he carried, how many of the government officials were able to carry them? We have some, I have attended a meeting with a commissioner about 2 years ago, yes. The man told us point blank in the hall, oh boy, I just entered this position, I don't know anything. No. So every question when they ask, man, I direct them to my PSO. Did they kill him for that? Every job you do, there must be a transition program. Even as you are here now, if you leave Quest for another organization, somebody must still put you through the system there.
Of course.
Before you now come and start having your own policies that will change the environment. For every step you climb, there is a new procedure.
Of course.
That you have to go through the rudiment of learning it. So this one they are doing now, that the first timers cannot hold principal offices. And you want me now as a first timer to come and vote for you to hold that office and nothing comes to me? When you are clamoring for the youth to take over, when the youth come in, are they not going to be first timers? Then who is going to be their leader? They will not go and bring somebody from the past administration to come and rule over there?
On the mind is not going to be Methuselah. But anyway, leaving that part of it, now let's look at the Senate as it stands.
Yes.
Because we are opportune to also get reactions from some senators who will not want their names to be mentioned.
Yeah.
And they feel the Senate is becoming too stereotyped. And when I mean stereotype, it looks as if the freedom to express themselves against any policy that seems to be coming from the presiding officers seems to be taken away. Do you see that with this very recent push or standing order by the Senate?
That is directly impacting on it. When you use the word stereotype,
and is it going to affect the robustness and the
Definitely.
beautiful bills we might really want to get from them?
Exactly. We have said that before. It's going to affect it 100%. You can't dance away from it. You see, we are supposed to have an independent arms of government.
Yeah.
The executive, the legislature, and the judiciary. The legislature makes the law, the judiciary interprets, the executive enforces. But what do we have here now? The person that is going to be there will be the person Mr. President wants. Will be the person that will cooperate with Mr. President. That's one thing that is bringing all these rules, whether they are telling us in the public or not. Now, the last time we discussed this matter here is something that is a bit related to what we are talking about now. Is Mr. Senate President supposed to be solely responsible to Mr. President of the Federal Republic? The answer is no. And those people that they look at their faces and they say this person will not be loyal to us, you want to push them aside because they are first timers, irrespective of what they carry to the house. You want to kill their ambition. You want to kill the aspiration of a whole generation. You want to kill the aspiration of the youth. How do you not tell me, like last week or so, some senators from a zone in this country protested that the Senate President is just approving every bill, every name that comes from Mr. President. You are complaining. Fine, it is nice to complain. Did you also complain when in the past administration, all the appointments were centered in one ethnic group, not even a particular zone now. One ethnic group controls the whole security apparatus in the country, controls the whole economic, that is the finance and the downstream sector. Did you complain? Why should two of us sit on a roundtable conference, eat a goat, and you now come outside to tell me that my head is like a goat head? I will not take it from you. The only way to decentralize this, the only way to disabuse the mind of everybody, anyone that has a stake in the House of Senate, like the barrister just said, also is entitled to contesting any position. I am representing my people, you are representing your people. So you cannot tell me that I should step aside for you to come and, for you to be a hero. And I'll go back to my people and say, because I'm the first time, they're not going to make I talk. Who will take that one from you? You will never go back again. You, the senator from your area that went to the house, you see a senator House of Reps, that went to the house and was speaking only English. Did he go back for second tenure?
Well, anyway, I felt he confused his people. No, just leave the English. But I'll plead with you, let's leave this for now and go on a break. And when we come back, we'll continue our discussion centered on the big story for today.